5 of Melanated Mommies. We're so happy to have you guys back. This week we're going to be taking a turn for a little bit more serious. We're going to be talking about the recent school shooting in Tennessee and the effects that it has on parents. Of course, those who are affected. Your thoughts are with us. I think that as parents, we never really thought that the day would come that we would continuously be seeing this as an issue every day. I think in my high school, like before I actually got into the high school, there was a school shooting like a few years back, Heritage High School in Conyers. And then of course, like it was a while before you heard of any, and then now all of a sudden it's almost like repetitive, you know. Yeah. And with the shooting that happened last week, I told Dominique, I was like, you know what, it's time now for us to have that conversation with them in terms of like what the situation would look like, understand for them.
How did you even start that conversation?
I honestly, I don't know, but I haven't had the conversation yet. But in my mind, I see it as like, hey, Malachi Phoenix, we got to have a sit down. I think Malachi would be a lot easier to like get him to understand the seriousness, but Phoenix, she's so inquisitive, so she wants to know the who, what, when, where, why, and unfortunately, like you can't give that. Even at work, like we continuously have active shooter, trainings, modules or whatever to prepare for the inevitable. At this point, like it's bound to happen because of how continuous it's happening. And I know like a couple of shows back in our previous format, I had mentioned like with so much going on, I don't think that I would have became a mom because that's scary for me to even have to think that as part of as our day-to-day conversations that I would have to have these conversations with my children. So I don't know. I mean, starting that conversation, I really don't know what that is going to look like.
Because my son being so young, it's not time to have that conversation yet because he's not going to know what I'm talking about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I think that is very important to consider, to start considering and start thinking about how do you have that conversation with your child? You know what I'm saying? Like, where do you begin? Like, it's so much that's been going on out here. You know what I mean? Like, and it's crazy that these children are getting affected by some of the poor decisions that people are making.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know, it's hard to think about because it's like my child got to go to, a public school. You know what I'm saying? Like, do I want him to go to a public school at this point? You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't feel safe no more. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of this stuff been going on, but I don't know. When we was growing up,
it happened, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, like it wasn't in our face.
Continues,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like we heard of it, but it wasn't like in our face.
Tennessee is close to home. That's like 2 hours away from Georgia. So it's just like even when because I used to live in Tennessee for the longest. I'm like, dang, like even if that happened in Chattanooga, my kids were in school and it didn't even happen near their school. That hits home because every time I hear about an active shooter situation, especially in schools, but in general, I think about, man, they had plans for the previous day. They had plans for later on that day. In that situation in Tennessee, it was 3 kids that got killed. So those are lives that are 100% impacted and changed. Like even when I lived in Tennessee previously, there was a situation where a bus driver actually drove a school bus off the road, crashed into some trees. It killed a whole bunch of trees. Yeah, it killed a whole bunch of kids. Injured some or whatever. It is crazy.
That is crazy. And it's just crazy how you literally just moved back.
Yeah, I know.
So I can see the concern. I can see, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, I mean, us being us, that's scary. That's scary anyway. Right. You know what I'm saying? But you just moved there from there. You know what I mean? Your kids was going to school there. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot going on.
It is.
It's a lot.
People are so people are trying so hard to get on the map, and I'm like, I'm just trying so hard to live. With my children. It's stressful being a parent, but when you have to add almost like a relationships, parenthood is already going to be difficult without having to add in the unnecessaries. The extra stuff. Thinking about the fact that it is a possibility, a strong possibility that regardless of, the measures that are taken, the trainings that are provided, that someone could come in and shoot up my child's school, and it's just like that, and it can happen in daycares,
Yeah,
and you're,
it definitely, and that's listen, that is a big thing. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I'm grateful to be able to work at the same establishment that my child goes to,
Yeah.
but I can't stop somebody from coming in and
Doing what they
doing
do.
whatever they decide they want to do. Of course, my thing is to protect, but
Mhm.
I have to protect all the kids in there. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Because that's my job. You know what I'm saying? So it's, I don't know, it's scary, and hearing stuff like that really, it puts you in a state of mind like, dang, like, you know what I mean? What if this was me? You know what I mean? Like, what if I was going through this? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, what if I lost my child? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Oh, God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you really have to be real fragile when you talk to people about it. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know. You just never know what people been through. You never know if people have experienced this before. You know what I'm saying? In their life. You know what I mean? In their families. You know. So I don't know. When you told me we was gonna talk about this today, I immediately thought like, I didn't know about the Tennessee incident that just occurred.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've heard of it, but I didn't know in depth of what happened. You know what I'm saying? And it just brings back to the shooting that happened. Where was it? The dude came in and shot up the school and killed all those kids. This just happened not too long ago. Where was that at?
Oh my gosh.
This literally just happened, like maybe a couple of years ago. If
Was
not
it
last
Sandy
year.
Hook? You talking about Sandy Hook?
Was it the dude?
A few years ago. It was a whole bunch of. Are you talking about in Texas? See, it's so many that you literally cannot even be able to grasp the point. Now, the one in Texas, now that one was crazy because it was like
all those kids.
Yeah, and then like the cops didn't really do much to prevent it. Yeah. Is it that one?
I think so. I think
yes.
They said that he was on social media saying, was that the
Oh,
same?
I don't know that one.
Because the dude was on social media, they saying that he was gonna kill. He was gonna go back to the school and kill everybody in there and this and that. So many kids that got shot. I don't know. I heard, like you said, it's a lot of.
That is the fact that even now, we're sitting here trying to discuss it and break down any of the recent ones, and we can't even pinpoint it because that's how often it's happening. It's happening quite frequently. So in terms of, because dude is now what, one?
He's about to be
He'll
two.
be two in May. My May baby. What do you think as a parent? What is a reasonable age for you in terms of your son and your situation for you to have that conversation with him? Now, of course, it needs to be, an age where he'll be able to comprehend.
Yeah.
But in your mind, what does that look like for you? Like, what age does that look like for you?
Of course, like you said, it should be an age where he actually can comprehend it. But the only thing about me is I talk to my son. I talk to my son all the time, whether he can respond back to me or not. I talk so he can hear mommy and know. So I think, with that, just in general, me talking to him and just he hears me. Whether he's responding, he hears me. I talk to him now about stuff. You know what I'm saying? Whether he can't respond to me or not, I still talk to him just to let him know, like, I'm going to be talking to you. I'm going to let you know what's going on out there. You know what I'm saying? And then once he's able to respond and ask questions and stuff like that, that's when I'm able to go full deep into it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's all I'm waiting on because I talk to him. I'm gonna keep talking to him.
I'm like that too. And there's stuff like people hear me breaking stuff down for my kids. And I'm like, they're too young for that. But nowadays, I think that's kind of the gap from when we were growing up too, because those conversations were not had. And not necessarily towards active shooter, but even serious in-depth conversations. Like, I talk to my daughter and my son, about the possibility of them being kidnapped and what they need to be doing.
Kids are definitely getting older.
Yeah, 100%. But I've been talking to them about that for a while because even because there's a 3-year age difference between Malachi and Phoenix. Mm-hmm. So when I first had Phoenix, I would tell Malachi, like, hey, now you have a sister. Mm-hmm. So whenever you guys are with babysitters, nannies, whoever, if anything happens, it's your job to tell mommy and say, and I want you to make sure that you're protecting your sister or whatever. And it was so crazy because I got so used to being like, protect your sister. I would always forget to tell him, like, make sure you're also protecting yourself. Mm-hmm. So I would used to have to go back and be like, hey, make sure you're protecting yourself as well. Like it's not just your sister's safety that's important.
Yes.
I want you to be able to communicate for the both of you guys. Yep. So I had to get to the point to where I had to make sure that he fully understood that as well.
Yeah, I think people kind of confuse talking to your child with just letting your child be grown and all the
and that has nothing.
And cussing. You know what I'm saying? All that. You know what I mean? No shade, but all the shade.
Yeah.
I just feel like kids still need to be kids.
They do.
They still need to be able to experience what's it like to be a kid.
They do.
If you know what I'm saying, let's be clear. No judgmental here. No judge. How you raise your kids is how you raise your kids.
And who you have your children around.
Right, is who you have your children around. That's your business. But from my opinion, I'm saying just, it's just a difference between keeping your kids aware and then,
having them in an adult
situation. Having them in adult situations. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference because, like, a lot of things that some people will think funny when kids do, I don't think it's funny. I think some things is teaching moments. Everything isn't always funny. Sometimes, kids see other things from other kids, especially working at a daycare. These kids pick up on everything.
So much. They're sponges. They're literal sponges.
They pick up on everything, and then you be like, where you get that from? And you think about it, I know exactly where you got that from. Yeah. And it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not automatically just like shut down and just shut the kid down and just like, no, don't do that. No, just let them know, like, no, we don't do that. We don't talk like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like we just need more parents to be parents. Yeah. Not always just trying to be friends. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you need validation from your child that you're cool. You're my friend. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's cool. You know what I'm saying? You should always have that friend dynamic with your child. But it's boundaries. 100%. You know what I'm saying when it comes to kids, because this day and age, these kids is doing everything. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, mine will be on a certain strap. You know what I'm saying? Like no leash, but he will be real close because he's going to be out here I'm not going to keep him away from anything because I feel like that closes in and that
and that becomes a whole other problem.
You know what I'm saying? So no, he's not going to be closed in. He's going to live his own life and make his own decisions. But I feel like I said before, it goes back to talking. Yeah. Being able to let him know that you can literally come and talk to me about anything. Right. You know what I'm saying? No matter what it is, I want you to come talk to mommy about it. Don't be scared. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just
it's a lot. It's a lot to factor in. It's so many like avenues to it too, because like you said, you don't want. It's a difference between informing and educating and allowing in grown situations. You know, and that is what I have a problem with, particularly because like you said, children gonna pick stuff up. You know, the other day Malachi said something, and I was like, "Wait, we need a time out on that because we gotta talk about this." And they ended with a stern. I don't ever want to hear them say this mess again because certain parents, and everybody has a different parent style. Nobody has their kids do it, none of that. But there are certain things that you should excuse your children from the room. There's been times where me and you were having conversations when it was just the kids, and I'm like, y'all need to go into a whole nother room because there aren't things. Everything is not meant for your child to hear,
girl. And just I don't want to cut you off, but it's on my mind because like even working, like I would just go back to working where I work. These kids literally come back to school and say everything.
100%.
Everything they hear. 100%. You know what I'm saying? It starts at home.
It does.
You know what I'm saying? Whether you want to believe that or not, and whether you telling your child, you better not. Whatever happened in this house, that's
that don't mean
you
nothing.
think. You know what I'm saying? Because when Billy get into it with
it's over with.
Listen, the talking is gonna stop.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's natural. That's what kids do. They're being kids, but you still have to watch what you say. You still have to watch the example that you're setting for your child. And just like you say, it's no manual on doing this. Nobody's perfect. I'm learning. This is my first child. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm on my fourth, but I'm still learning.
Right. Like the learning doesn't stop. Like literally, this says never stop learning because life never stops teaching.
Never stops teaching.
Like that's very important. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like as long as you are open to learning, you're gonna grow and you're gonna go far. As long as you're open to learning something new about parenting, about yourself, about people, and accept it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, and accept it. Don't always think things is gonna go how you want. Yeah. Because it's not.
because it's not. Because it's not. But no, I think that that's such a good point, especially in the terms of, you know, with the active shooters and the violent situations. I think that has a lot to do too with what you allow your child to hear and what you allow your child to see. Yeah. You know, and be privy to.
Girl, YouTube is taking over the world.
It is. And now, granted, I do let my children watch, but there is a restriction. They got, it's like math problems on there that they can't solve that the parent has to do. So I do that. And even then, like, stuff still slips through the crack. And I'm watching over shoulders and I'm like, turn it off. Now you done lost your privilege for 3 days. You know what I mean? Because it's so important as parents, kind of like you said. Like, yeah, we do want to have that friendship type vibe relationship. But at the end of the day, your main job is to grow, teach, steer in the right direction. You're no longer living your life for you. You're living your life for you and your child. So when you are no longer on this earth, you need to be able to give your child the necessary seeds to be able to grow into a great human being.
And you know you did your job.
Right, exactly.
You know, and I think as human beings, you should feel very proud
100%.
To know that if I leave this world today, my son will be straight. Right. You know, having that feeling, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a good feeling. You know what I mean? Because you know you did what you can do, all that you can do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when you get that, it's like, that's validation. Like, oh yeah, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
100%. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, whether people tell you or not, if you know you get up and do what you got to do for your children, child, whoever, no matter who you taking care of it, whether it's children
yours or not, right?
You know what I'm saying? Yours or not. Like, if you know you get up and do what you got to do, you doing the damn thing.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Like, that's all that matters at the end of the day.
You doing it.
And you know, like children are a product of their environment. Adults are a product of their environment. You know, when you become so used to a certain surroundings and you are not, you know, so set in your steps and your emotions as an adult, as an individual, to remove yourself from that situation, then you're going to continue to adapt it and grow into it, and then you teach your children those steps. You know, because nowadays, I mean, let's be realistic. Some of these active shooters are children. You know, there was a situation, what was it, a few months back, where a child stabbed their teacher.
Yeah. And then that comes with getting bullied and stuff.
It does, 100%. You know, and you have to be able to talk to your children about that. But at the end of the day,
you gotta start making these schools safer.
100% schools are supposed to be, because if you really think about it, and I think we spoke about it in our first episode on our previous format, they're spending more time at the school. You know, by the time we get them, they've been at school all day. Yes, 100% than you do.
You know,
and that's so important for them to be able to come up with certain, you know, ways to protect them. Like, we now know that we have this problem. So what are we going to do about it? You know, we know that this problem is not going away. It's only increasing. So what's the solution?
Right.
And you can't say, oh, well, you know, you can't plan around these things. You may not be able to detect the ones who are going to do it and when they're going to do it, but you can provide that C plan to be able to make this. Exactly. You know, I actually saw this video, what was it, last week? And it was a governor, or I'm not sure what his role is politically, but he had came up with this invention to where, so say this is the wall in a classroom, right? There's an active shooter warning that goes off in the school. There's like a handle on that wall that actually pulls it out and it makes it like a panic room, safe room. And it locks from the inside. And then they stay in there, of course, until it's all clear and the cops come and they clear everything out. Like, that's a great solution. But why do we have to get like 15, 20, 30, 100, 200 active shooter situations in for someone to be actively working on something? I'm not very political, but I am very parent. And when it comes down to saving and securing my children, your child, my neighbors, whoever, like, that's very much an important topic. Exactly. Because children should not have to say, part of my life story is, oh, there was an active shooter at my school.
I almost got killed.
I made it through, but I almost got killed. Right.
Wow.
Right. Why is that something
that
you see? School. Right. We was in the middle of math class.
We in a jail.
Right.
And this man just walk in.
Exactly. Start doing his thing, you know? And it's crazy that that's now part of what could happen. My biggest fear is getting a call or showing up to my kids' school and not leaving with them.
Girl.
You know what I mean? Like, parenting is
But
hard, but nobody's going to take my child away from me.
These are topics that people dread talking about. These are topics that people don't want to talk about.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Avoid talking about it, but it's real. You know what I mean? It's happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's very uncomfortable. You know, even sitting here trying to plan mentally how I would approach that conversation. Right. But I want to make sure that I'm giving my kids the keys to be successful in terms of not even just work life, but in their actual lives. Right. So that when it happens, it's going to be scary, but they're going to click in their head, hey, mommy prepped me for this. Mm-hmm. Let me listen, because let me tell you one thing about it. The thing that separates Malachi and Phoenix, like I said, she is very strong and independent, but she also is very emotional. So I fear that if that situation was to happen and it affect her classroom, or even if she hears it, she would not be safe solely because she's so emotional and her scream is so loud. You know, she will cry, and that's not, you know, anything on her. She's just emotional, right, you know. So I fear that if I don't prep her for this, she would not be able to listen to her teacher's instructions. You know, she might put herself at risk, her teacher at risk, her other children, you know, the other kids at risk. Malachi, on the other hand, he's also emotional, but in serious situations, he hones in and he pays attention. But he's also my teddy bear, and he will be more focused on everyone else than ensuring that he came home to me. You know? And that's not to say I would want somebody else's child to take the hit over him, because that's not the case. But I want mine home with me, just like everybody else would want theirs with them. You know, and so I feel like that conversation needs to be had. So they will be able to work out too, like their feelings and their emotions on it, and then I could be able to tackle each viewpoint from there. And as parents, we have to have these uncomfortable situations, conversations rather, about these serious situations, because we can't really say we fully prepared them for life. You know, even as adults, I don't know if I told you, but a couple years back when I worked at Walmart, there was a active shooter type situation at my store. This guy, he was looking for another dude or whatever, and he started shooting. And he shot one of the team members that worked at my store, and he ended up dying. You know, and thankfully that day I had taken off work. I had called out of work that day. You know, and it's just so crazy how even that, if you think about how little certain details plays on things. If you go back to the unfortunate event of 9/11, there were so many people saying, you know, I called out to work that day. I didn't take this way. I was running late this time. If I hadn't been running late, I would have been right in the middle of it. You know, and the fact that you have to factor in whether if I turn left instead of going right.
It's like every decision that you make
could check. Yes, it does. Right? It could put you in the middle of something, or it could put you in the far side of it. Counts. You know, and being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Listen, or it happening right after you.
Right, and you're like, wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like
something that's swift as the wind blowing.
Right? It happens. It's crazy.
It is,
but it
really
definitely
is.
It happens. It happens. Like every decision that we make counts. No matter what decision you decide to make, it's going to count. No matter what. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you have to face those decisions that you decide. We all have to face the decisions that we decide to make. And some of the decisions will take us, you know, I feel like we all have our own journey. We all have our own path. So of course you're gonna make certain decisions. Our book has already been written. You're gonna make certain decisions. You know what I'm saying? And they're not all gonna be good decisions. Some of them is gonna be bad decisions. But I think those bad decisions are the decisions that's helping us grow. You know what I'm saying? Because we would never know how to get through stuff like this if we didn't go through stuff. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So if everything was just perfect and we always made the right decision, when the bad decision do come, we'll lose it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't know what to do. Yeah. Because we didn't never go through nothing. So I think it's a give and take. This life, like my homegirl, she say, life be life.
It do.
I be saying that too.
It really do.
Like,
it really do.
And that has always stuck like with me. Like it really does. Like you never know what can happen. Like, you know, especially for me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just bought a car.
Mm-hmm. Life was life, and for her was
and I just bought a car and I got into a whole accident. I had not even had my car a whole month.
Yeah.
Got into a whole accident. You know what I'm saying? And
totaled the car.
Totaled the car out. You know what I'm saying? My son got sick. Right, the same. All this happening at the same time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and I had to be out work for a week. You know what I'm saying? Like, knowing that bills still have to be paid.
They still gonna come.
They're still gonna come. But my child is sick. You know what I mean? Like, he can't go to school. If he can't go to school, I can't go to school. Yeah. If he can't sleep, I can't sleep. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sleep deprived. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to his daddy, because his dad is so dope.
Shout out.
Like,
you know
so
who you
dope.
are.
He's so dope. But, you know, life is lifing. And it be lifing, but good things have came out of all of that. My child is better. You know what I'm saying? New car on the way.
New car on the way.
You know
Insurance.
This ain't for insurance. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hashtag progressive be progressive.
They do. But like, just, you know, and I'm so private. You know what I mean? I don't, you know, a lot of people probably look at this and be like, she said me.
Right. I knew. I knew.
Listen, it's never nothing personal with me anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I just like to handle what I gotta handle when I gotta handle it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like if ain't nobody else got me, baby, I got me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but I do appreciate people like you who is in my corner, and people like Arrow, and you know what I'm saying? Like, people who is like, and my best friend too. Hey girl. Like, I appreciate people like y'all. Patty.
She ain't your best friend.
Patty. Just Patty. Anyway, I appreciate like my circle, my little tribe.
Yeah. And it's important to have the right people.
Oh yeah, those tough days is tough. Baby.
Yeah.
You hear me? They are tough. And it takes some real strong people to keep getting through tough days. You know what I'm saying?
It does.
Like,
you know, life was life for me for 2 years straight. And no matter how much I reached out to you, it was like, dang girl. You know? Because it makes a difference too when I think people are so quick to say, I'm here for you, and then put a cap on it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and there's really no cap that you can place on being supportive for somebody or being there for them, being with them as they work through whatever it is they got to work through, because, as we said, life be lifing. You know, life doesn't have a cap on, okay, you're going to go through this hard time for 4 months, then you're going to be straight, and then we're going to come back, we're going to do it slow, but then we're going to get to the
We can do it 1 week, we good, next week we ain't. Listen,
it's not like that, you know? And that's why it's so important to have the right people around you, because in those situations,
circle got to be knit.
Do you understand?
Especially as you get older, you start to realize it. You know what I'm saying? Trying to tell my nieces and nephews, they all getting grown. They all grown now. Like, they making me feel old. You know what I'm saying? But trying to tell them, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, y'all, all these friends y'all got, baby. You know what I'm saying? Trying to say that it's just, it's mediocre. You know what I'm saying?
That's why my mom always used to say, don't keep calling everybody your friends. They're your associates. I associate with you.
You know? You my dog.
Yeah. you quick to call somebody your dog.
No, my dog.
You're so quick for that. But that's why it's so important to be able to weed out, you know, who's for you and who's not. You know what I'm saying?
People have
sometimes, and they do have their seasons. And I have learned that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people are not meant there to be there for the long run. They're meant to be there just for the corner. You know what I'm saying? A drive by, a stop by.
I ain't here for a long time.
I'm here for a good time. Yes. And that's so true. You know what I mean? Because even back to our topic at hand, if something like that was to happen, you want people around you that's going to sincerely be there for you, because that's going to play on your emotion. There's no recovering from that. And you need somebody that's people around you that's going to be able to be there for you on your bad days, worst days, imperative days. I'm about to take a leap off this bridge days. You know, and not the ones who have a cap, not your seasonal associates. You know,
you got to keep my dog.
Exactly. You my dog, but we taking a break. You know,
and it's nothing wrong with loving people from a distance.
100%.
You know,
I strongly believe in it.
Yeah, me too.
I religiously practice that. You know exactly.
Like, seriously, and I think that's healthy.
Yes, it is.
I think it's healthy because I think it keeps peace. It keeps peace for you.
It does.
And it keeps
for
peace
me.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
you
ain't
ain't gotta
gotta
worry about me. I remember about you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and some situations just dead themselves. And you have to accept that.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't really dwindle on things that could have happened, would have happened. Like, you have to let life go. Like,
that's one thing about it. And you know me, I'm so quick to be like,
yeah, you always been like that. You have always been like that. And then it's sometimes scary.
Hey, it is what it is. Because I have, you know, most of like everything that I've been through. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And all joking aside, I know how tough, how hard, how nitty gritty life can get when it was just me single, me with Malachi, me with Phoenix. You know, it is so important to have people around you that are genuinely for you. Oh, yeah. So once you start showing your colors that you are not for me, you're not for this situation.
And you're not gonna be for everybody.
And that's true. And everybody's not gonna be for me. You know, I've had people around, even family, you know what I mean, living with some. You know what I'm saying? Thought they were sheep, they were wolves. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I could care less if I talk to them to this day because you're no good for me, you're no good for my offspring. You know, there's no give, there's no take. And those same, I'm gonna be honest, you know, and my mom, this is one thing she over the years, she has always told me that me holding on to grudges will literally be like the death of me. But for me, it's not holding on to a grudge, it's allowing myself to remember that you are not the person for me. You do not have my best interest or my children's best interest in mind. You know, I don't need you around just for fun. I don't need you around for hard times. I don't need, God forbid I was to lose one of my children. There are certain relatives, certain associates, certain friends, or previous friends. You better not come. Yeah. Because I don't need you sitting here fake crying. Because you wasn't, you know what I'm saying? You wasn't there for it. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't there for them. You wasn't there for me. So it doesn't matter to me. And that's why it's so easy for me to say bye. Yeah. You know,
it's a difference.
Doors were built for a reason.
It is. Walk through it.
Walk through it.
It's a reason why. I mean, it's a difference between grudges and just genuinely just finding peace in a situation and letting it be what it is. It is different if you holding grudges. If you are holding grudges, that's you have to let that go. You know what I'm saying? That's
I don't think I am. I think and some I probably am.
And you should let it go.
Some I probably am. But for the most part, I can honestly say it's just you have shown me. I have seen your real reflection.
Okay. And that's okay.
And we are good.
Yeah. And then that comes in terms of finding peace with the situation, because I feel like a grudge for me would be more so like, oh hell no, like this is not even sick by me, like no, you can't say nothing to me, ain't none of that, like oh no, like I don't know.
Oh well, then maybe it is grudges because so everybody on the list can't sit next to me. Don't bring my
no, and that's what like not maybe I guess that's what I look at it, and then me finding peace with the situation would be like, you can say like, okay, bitch can say, but I don't know you. Like you can't, like we don't have to talk, or you know, or hey, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It could be on the I don't see you. However you play, I'll just, you know, give you the type of energy. It could be on the I don't see you, or it could be on some hey, how you doing? Keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I was taught don't speak unless spoken too. So I'm telling you,
speak unless spoken.
I mean, like when you come like elders,
100%,
stuff like that, of course. Yeah. But when it comes to petty shit and females and all that shit like that, like I just don't entertain it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you show,
and that's one benefit of our friendship, our sisterhood. I don't even call it a friendship anymore. You're literally my sister, you know? And that's one thing I can say that over the years, slowly, very slowly, I have been able to start adopting, you know, and being able to adapt to that in terms of how I handle situations because I am very quick to knock on somebody's door. I'm very quick to like, let's go ahead and hash this out as necessary. But at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You do you, I do me. If we entangle, whatever, you go to the left, I go to the right. But that's why I say it's so important to be able to not only know who you can count on, but you have to also be able to understand who you cannot. And that's not to say, 100% cut ties with them or whatever. But like you said, life be lifing. It's already short. You're going to go through good times. You're going to go through bad times. You're going to go through great and worse. And you need people around you, your tribe, your virtual village, to be able to be there for you no matter what. It should not be stipulations. It should not be, oh yeah, I can be there for you for this if you can do this for me. You know, how many times I needed you, and yeah, a give and take. It's been a long, you know, it was a while where I was just taking from you. I know I was, girl, can you babysit, girl? I got all this going on, you know.
We helped each other.
We have
tremendously throughout these years. It's been a lot of years.
Yeah.
And we've been here for each other tremendously.
Yeah.
On both parts. Definitely. So that, hey, it doesn't have to even be said.
I'm just saying that's why it's so important. You know?
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely.
Because at one point, you know, even when I moved, like, it was so much distance, and we didn't talk for the longest. Mm-hmm. But then when we were able to reconnect, it was like no time had passed. Yeah. And that's why it's so important, because even, you know, when Nico went into the hospital, you know, outside of his father, I was texting you. You know what I'm saying? Stressing out. I literally almost lost my child that day, and I think that's why the active shooter situations and in schools and in stores and no matter where you're at, unfortunately now, is happening. You know, holding my child while he's blue in the face and not breathing. You know, I'm very good under pressure. I've always, you know, taken pride in that and being able to be the strong one. But I was so thrown off, you know, and I lost my strength that day, you know, and then having to imagine to have somebody take that away, you know, thankfully I didn't lose my son, you know, and if I had, you know, that would have been from his body. But to have somebody take away, that don't, you know, it don't sit right. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, you hear, oh, I brought you into this world, I'll take you out. I'll take you out. Not nobody else. Me. You know? Not no one else, you know, and it's hard to fathom that one morning you could be saying, I love you, I'll see you later. And you don't. Yeah. You know, my heart literally goes out for parents who have had to deal with that and are currently dealing with that. You know?
My love. Because I'm going to tell you, like, oh, God. I don't know.
You never know a strength until...
like, because, I don't know, my brother best friend, he lost his child the same day Duda was born.
Oh my gosh.
Like, and I don't know. I still don't even know how to, you know what I'm saying?
Comprehend it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I don't talk about it because, first of all, that's, you know, not my situation. You know what I'm saying? To talk about it. But it's just, I would never forget that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because they are somebody really close to my family.
They're family.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they are family. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? His kids is my brother God. You know, God kids.
God children. Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So, and I don't know. And that, when that happened, like, to hear my brother crying on the same day my baby was born. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like,
a day that should have been, he would have been rejoicing normally, you know, and then it was a mix.
And that just took everything out of me. Like, oh, I was so sad. Like, I was really, really sad.
Because even for you to be, you know, your first child.
And we have the same birthday. Oh, shout out to you. Oh, me and her have the same birthday. She's the strongest. She's a big Virgo. You're a big Virgo. Like, she's the strongest. But I don't know. I would live. That would always
be in your mind.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It gives me chills just thinking about
it. Oh
yeah. Yeah. It's a hard topic to really have to dissect and go through, because you, in a situation like this, in a topic like this, you have to think about the possibilities. You can't be like, oh, we're not going to think about that. Yeah. You have to think about the possibilities because unfortunately, it's the reality of the world that we're living in, of the times that we're living in. Like, and it's crazy to even have to fathom. You know, some days I get off work and I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, please, let's just have a quiet night. I've been at work all day. But if I had to come home and not have that noise, you know what I mean? I'd be like, what is this? You know, it wouldn't be reality anymore. It'd be, I feel like I was in the doggone metaverse, like in a whole different time.
If I don't hear no screaming, I'd be like, oh my child.
Right. It's like nowadays you be sitting at home and it's playing like, wait a minute, what you into? Right. Yeah. Imagine thinking, you know, you're out of it. You're not even really thinking about the moment. And you're like, oh my gosh, why are you so quiet? And then you realize that they're no longer there.
It is. I don't know. I have big ups for women who have even begin to experience something like that.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Parents as a total.
Just parent mothers, dads, like my heart is so heavy for that topic. Losing your child is I could not even imagine.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like so I don't know. I'm just grateful. You know what I'm saying? Just grateful. I'm grateful for life.
Right.
Even though it's lifing.
Life is life.
I'm grateful for life. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful to be able to be a mom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Embrace my son and, you know what I mean, mold him into this awesome young man that he's supposed to be.
Because he is about to be.
Speak it. But I don't know. I'm just grateful. And I think when the time comes for us to really have that conversation, you know, it's going to present itself and it's going to flow. It's just going to flow. Because I think he needs to know everything that be going on 100%. In this little world, baby, because it's a lot.
Such a emotional, oh my gosh, conversation, guys. We'll probably revisit later on down the line. It's never a time where this won't be such an important conversation. Yes. Tune in for our next episode. We thank you guys for continuously watching us.
Like, comment,
and subscribe. Let us know what you think the appropriate age is, for to have this conversation with your child in your household. Thank you for tuning in again. Melanated Mommies, we're out.